Who said winter is not here? It is here. It's the 25th of November, 2013. It's time for another edition of Weber This Week. It's Turkey Week coming up on Thursday. I know you're all psyched for that. The weather forecast is a little bit gloomy the next couple of days as we approach Thanksgiving 2013. Good morning, everybody. Hope you had a nice weekend. We weren't ready for that snow, were we? I'm never ready for it, but again, it's part of what we live in the Finger Lakes region. You just never know day to day what it's going to be like. We hope that you're psyched for Thanksgiving, but we have a special guest, a longtime friend of mine, Jeff Rook, joins us in the studio, and Jeff is on the couch, and we always like to bring our guests in and have them on the couch and talk about their event. And Jeff, good morning. Welcome back to our show. It's good to have you.
Good morning, Doug. Thanks for having me.
I'd love to have you back, and certainly we're going to talk to Jeff about him and Tina, his wife Tina, and a host of others. He'll give some credit to his committee. Wonderful Life 5K run coming up on December 14th. And without further ado, Jeff, for the folks that may not know, let's give a little explanation of what the event's all about. What is the event, and how long, and when did you start the event? And it's grown leaps and bounds to, I guess, even to your imagination.
Yes, absolutely. This is our 5th annual It's a Wonderful Run. We do it in conjunction with the It's a Wonderful Life weekend. And when we first started this event back in 2009, we were hoping for maybe 100, maybe a couple hundred people. And it's, the first year I think we had around 450, 500 participants. And then the next year we grew up to 1,000, and then 2,000, and then last year we had 3,000. And this year we're at around, I think we're around 2,200 so far, which is well ahead of last year. So I think we'll be pushing 3,500, 4,000 this year. So
That's incredible.
It's unbelievable how it's grown, and it's amazing.
And it's going to be December 14th.
Yeah, December 14th. It starts at dusk, so it's a night run. It's a run and walk, so it's a 5K, but it's if you want to walk, we probably get somewhere in the vicinity of 400 or 500 walkers who are just there to take in the sights and the lights and walk through town, get some fresh air and stuff. So
give me a rundown of the people that help you with this. I know it's you and Tina, your wife Tina, who's obviously not with us this morning because of her schedule, but give us a little bit about the fact that who's involved in helping you. There's obviously more than just you and Tina that do this.
Yep.
Run down the people that have been supportive and that are there leading up to race day, and obviously doing all the nuts and bolts, making sure the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed.
Right. There's a tremendous amount of people. There's, I guess our core group, there's my wife and I, Tina and I, Jolene Korzaneski, Kevin Korzaneski. We kind of do things throughout the course of the year. But we've got a group of family and friends and volunteers, and there's sponsors, and there's the police department, the Seneca Falls Rec Center, the It's a Wonderful Life Committee. It's a community event, and everybody is very, very supportive of it. So, as far as volunteers, we'll have 50, 75 volunteers on race day doing, different things. Jim Sinacropi supports us on our website, yep. Race day coverage, promotion. It's just endless, the amount of people who are involved and who make this event happen.
Talk about expenses. What does it cost to get involved? When do they have to sign up? Can they still get in it, obviously? What's the deadline, and how much would it cost you to be a part of it?
Yeah, it's right now it's $20. $20 the entry fee. You'll get a race shirt, and that fee will run until December 1st. December 1st, it goes up to $25. The last day to register before race day, we will take race day registrations, but it bumps up to $35 on race day. Our website, It's a Wonderful Run, 5K.com, is where you can go to either register online, or you can print off a form and mail it in if you want to mail it in, so you can do it both ways.
And we all know the Finger Lakes region, mid-December, weather could be atrocious.
Yes.
You have a game plan. The race continues, but maybe it's modified somewhat depending on the weather scenario.
Well, we won't really modify it, but if it's, if we do get a storm, a huge storm, it's basically up to the police department. They make the call in the end. So if it's too bad, too dangerous, they will cancel the race.
Yeah.
So that might happen. But
that thing is always an obvious part of the when you talk anything in mid-December, especially in this area.
Right.
You never know.
Right.
But you've been fortunate.
The first 4 years it's been great. The weather's been very seasonably warm, and no snow, no precipitation. So it's been we've been lucky so far.
A couple of years when there was snow, though, it was really great. I mean, there wasn't a huge snowstorm, but there was snow in
a little dusting. Yeah,
that's perfect.
Right, it is perfect. And what we're, I'm convinced that one of these years we're gonna get nailed.
Might be this year. We got the early snow already before Thanksgiving.
Right. Yeah. As long as it if it snows beforehand and the plows can get out and plow the streets, we'll still do it. It's just a matter of if we get one of those dumpings where we're getting a foot and a half and it's coming down. That's when they'll pull the plug on it.
Oh yeah, it's true. Jeff Rook is our guest this morning on Weber This Week. We hope that you are checking us out this morning, and it's a huge event. I've had the opportunity to be there live one year on the bridge to watch it, but I've watched Jim's video of it, and Jim does a great job from a community standpoint to show people that may not be of the ability to get to the race or to check out the race via the streets. It's sort of like a yearly event, and it's turned out to be a spectacular event. And talk a little bit about where the folks come from. They're not just coming from Seneca County.
No, it's amazing where they come from. I was just checking the other day. 17 different states this year.
Amazing.
So, Oklahoma, Georgia, I saw a bunch from Michigan. Over 50 people come from Pennsylvania. Half dozen people come from Canada. And a lot of them have made it it's almost like an annual tradition for them. They come back every year. They bring a couple more people. And that's why I think it grows, each and every year. It's just
word of mouth.
It's a neat thing, yeah.
It's mind-boggling. And what was do you have any trepidation when they decided to change the name from the Clarence to the Gould Hotel?
Oh,
was that a trepidation as far as people recognizing it?
Not really, not really. I mean, they I think the big draw, I think, is because we're trying to figure out why is this so popular? Why are so many people coming? And I think it's a number of different things. Number one, people love the movie.
Sure,
people love the movie,
oh,
so
God.
We're kind of tied in with the movie. Number two, it's a race that takes place in December. So we're not competing with very many other races.
Exactly.
There's not very many other races. So anybody from Buffalo to Albany that wants to run a 5K, this is a good one to run, and that's why they.
Well, you say they love the movie. I take exception to that because if you remember when the Clarence began operations years ago, when they became the Clarence, and I was in the beginning of the process, I went to get a part-time job there. Because I live just down the street.
You're probably sick of it.
Well, I'll tell you something. I worked the night shift for 3 or 4 months, 11 to 7, because I was doing audit and customer service for late check-ins. And they ran that film continuously. And Jim, being a technical guy, he can relate to this 24/7. And after about the 5th or 6th time of watching the film, you're ducking behind a chair.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's a great movie, don't get me wrong, but I had to make fun because we would turn it off once in a while to let it reboot, and people would come in from being out to dinner, and they'd say, "Where's the movie?" So, I have watched that movie. I probably would say, in all kidding, probably 500 times.
Right.
Jeff Rook is our guest this morning from Seneca Falls, New York. Longtime friend of mine. Myself and Jeff worked together when I was with Gould's, and I'll be coming up on 7 years being retired in May. Hard to believe how time flies.
Wow.
Of course, Jeff sells Gould's pumps and now Xylem, and I get confused with all the name changes there, but he's our guest this morning. We'll get his opinion on some other sports notes as far as talk about SU, talk about a big game coming up, talk about what happened last night in the NFL, talk about a host of other things. But this show is brought to you by a host of great sponsors, and I thank them from the bottom of my heart. Let's take a break now and hear from our great sponsors. We'll come back. We'll talk about SU football. You talk about a huge game. They don't get any huger than this one coming up Saturday at the Dome. We'll be back. Hugo Lake National Bank. Bill Ryan and his team for all of your banking needs. Offices in Union Springs and Aurora. A fine sponsor of this show for over 30 years. DA Liquors, Seneca Falls. Amy Petula and her great team will find that right spirit for you every time. Tell Amy the dog sent you. Steve Wadhams, Wadhams Enterprises, your employer of choice. Proud supporter of this show and local athletics. Steve Muller Motors, smullermotors.com. Quality, affordable vehicles, both foreign and domestic. Bob and Leslie Oman, owners of the Oman Theater, in Lions as well as the Newark Pilots, a minor league baseball team with a major league ballpark. Lizard's Tailgater Lounge, Waterloo. Best Mott Sticks around, where you can enjoy a drink and some laughs. SenecaFallsCountryClub.com. Awesome 18-hole layout, offering a 12-month payment plan. Home of the toughest par 4 in central New York. That'd be number 16. Marshall Auto Sales, DickMarshallsAuto.com. Awesome used vehicles, where you not only can buy a great vehicle, you can gain a great friend in Dick Marshall. Wilson Press, WPress.com. Seneca Falls, Rich Ricky, my good friend, and his team can handle all of your printing and mailing needs. Rich Ricky, Wilson Press, a fine sponsor of Weber This Week. Ah, yes. A little chilly out there this morning, and we're hearing about some snow on Tuesday and Wednesday. We don't know the seriousness of the effect of the snow. Thanksgiving's supposed to be decent, but they're saying Wednesday could be somewhat ugly. So, and I know that's, Jeff, you travel a lot. That is, of course, the busiest travel of the day of the year, the day before Thanksgiving.
Absolutely.
So let's hope and pray we get a little bit of snow, but not a lot of snow, because that would screw up. And by the way, this storm that's coming across the country is just devastated Texas, Oklahoma, and it's coming our way, baby. It's going up the coast. We're not sure what we're going to get out of it, but I wasn't too thrilled getting up Sunday morning and having to go out and clear the cars. I do miss the garage scenario, which I don't have, but I wish I had one. Okay, let's talk about Finger Lakes 1.com presentation of high school basketball. We have our director and producer of this show, Jim Senecropi. And Jimmy, I know you've put a lot of effort. Your sales team has worked on getting some sponsors, and of course, we're going to unveil our beginning of our 2013-2014 high school basketball schedule. I believe we have some 14 games to broadcast. Talk about the opener come Saturday night. We have Brendan Harrington with the play-by-play, Matt Verke, who needs no introduction for his basketball abilities and knowledge, Kevin Korzanuski, along with our ace cameraman, Jeremy Hunt. Talk a little bit about the first game.
It's Minders at Clyde.
Baby, it don't get any better than that,
No,
does it?
the last game Clyde played.
You said Minders at Clyde.
Minders at Clyde.
Oh, it's at Clyde. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
It's the last time they played was last February in the state qualifier game, and Minders beat Clyde in Waterloo. Mm-hmm. Those teams, they haven't been played in a while because they're in the Wayne County League,
right,
and Minders is in the Finger Lakes East.
Right.
And so it's going to be a great opener because both teams are very good. Clyde has Cam DeSanto, who is a senior small forward. He's a Kevin Garnett type of guy. He's I think he's about 6'5".
He's a good player, real good player.
And then Jomaine Bogan down low. He's also a senior. Those are two names that have been in the, you've heard with Clyde basketball for years now. But this is their senior year. He's another big guy, 6'5", 6'6". And they have a host of other guys on Clyde. And Minders lost their starting backcourt last year, but they bring back one of the best big men in the league, Luke Ruddy. And Nick Ciotti's first game as a head coach. So there's a lot going on there. And so it's 7 o'clock, or actually 7:30, I think, is on Saturday.
What time are we going to go on the air?
There. We'll go on the air at 7:30.
7:30, okay.
Yep.
And by the way, folks, I'm personally looking forward to getting back into the broadcast booth. I didn't do any of the games last year because of my schedule. But this year I'm looking forward. I got at least 3 assignments, and I might do a 4th depending on my schedule. And having done this for 30-some years doing play-by-play, I'm looking forward to getting back into the booth, working with the likes of David Barnick and Brendan and Jimmy, and along with Jeremy. I know it's going to sound braggadocious, and I know this is my show, so I'm going to spend a minute and tell you about what I think about our coverage. With all due respect, all the years of doing radio, I had the opportunity to do hundreds and hundreds of games, and it was great. We had a good audience most every game, and some of the classic matchups, Minders Waterloo, Minders Newark, Minders Clyde, those types of games would draw big listenerships. The beauty of what we do here, and again, FingerLakes1.com is unique in the fact that we're not radio. Unfortunately, radio can give you the audio and the play-by-play skills of a person doing it, which I think is phenomenal. And there's a lot of one-man crews out there that do games in the area. And I give kudos to a one-man crew. I don't know how they do it. You got to set up the equipment. You got to do commentary. You got to do stats. You got to do play-by-play. You got to do everything because they don't put the resources in to putting a broadcast team together. In deference to what Jim is, the owner here, he is putting resources into these broadcasts like none other. We're going to have minimum 3 and 4 people at every one of our broadcasts. And the beauty of FingerLakes1.com, as Jeff knows, being a former athlete, we're not only going to give you the audio, we're going to show you the video. I don't know how much better you can get. So not only are you going to see your nephew and your son, right, Jeff?
That's right.
playing basketball, shooting the ball, and having me tell you about what's happening, you're going to be able to see it. Unbelievable. No comparison. We are going to be the best opportunity for you to check out basketball starting this Saturday. Minders Academy travels to Clyde, Savannah. So am I bragging a little bit about it? Yeah, but I have a lot of history of doing games in this station. I'm not trying to get a raise from Jimmy, but I think we certainly have an advantage.
The reason it works is because the competition's so great.
And that's right.
I mean, I feel that in the world of college and pro sports, there's a little bit of disconnect, but there's great competition right here in the gyms, that are 15, 20 minutes from your home. And I think that if you spotlight that
Exactly.
people will watch it, because there really is. And not only on the boys' side, but the Waterloo girls team this year is one of the best teams in the state, and we're going to get 2 looks at them. So.
That's right. And so it's really something you need to check out. If you really enjoy high school sports, check us out. I think you will not be disappointed. I'm always remindful, Jeff, and Jimmy reminds me of this too, and it happened, and all the years of doing play-by-play for WSFW radio, as Jeff, you remember those days. Mm-hmm. I certainly recall sitting at Parker's when Jim took us out for wings and a beer after a broadcast. And as I was sitting there having my beer, I had 2 people come up to me and shake my hand and say, "Great job. I just talked to my uncle in New Mexico." And then somebody said they just talked to one of their relatives in Las Vegas who watched the game. I mean, that's unbelievable.
That's the other advantage of
Finger Lakes One.
Of Finger Lakes One. You can get it anywhere.
Anywhere in the world.
That's
It's
right.
amazing. So check us out, folks. You will not be disappointed. We start our action. I think we got a 13, 14 game schedule, and I'm looking forward to getting out. My first appearance will be on the 27th of December. Looking forward to it. Getting psyched. Let's talk about some world of the NFL. Give Jeff's view. Tommy Coughlin, 0-6. They want to hang him. They want to burn him. They want to tear his house down. They want to shoot his dog. Tommy, of course, Mr. Athlete of Waterloo. He turns it around. He wins 4 straight. What a game against Dallas on Sunday. Down 21-6. Eli looked like he was lost. They get it 21-13. They get it 21-19. They go for 2. They get the 2-pointer. You think, oh, baby, this is coming our way. Tony Romo, the most maligned quarterback, the choke artist of all choke artists, never can finish, never can make the big play when he needs to, let alone at home. Forget about it on the road. What does he do? He marches them all the way down the field, the Cowboys. How about those Cowboys? They nipped the Giants with a last-second chip shot. And, Jeff, it looks like Tommy is done now. The team will not make the playoffs. There are 5 games to go. Let's see. They're going to be, 4-7 now. Yeah. There's 4-7. They got
4-7, 1-3 in division. 1-3 in division.
They've got 5 games left.
5 games left. They're down 2. Yeah. Not only they're down 2 to the Cowboys, they're down 2 to the Eagles as well.
Right.
So I would say it's over. I don't see them making the playoffs.
It's a long shot, I think.
A real long shot.
It's a long shot, and I think, early on when they lost those 6 games, they lost those 6 games to some very, very good teams.
Sure did.
And the 4 games that they won, they lost to some very bad teams. I think Giants are a decent team, and I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility of coming back. I mean, you just never know. With
but
5
you got to
games
hope
left.
now 2 teams scrump.
Right.
Because there's
true.
2 games behind now.
Right.
With only 5 to go.
And no wild card is going to come out of that
Oh,
division.
no, not a chance. So, I don't think Tommy is in danger. I think they may bring him back. It's going to be interesting. We all know about his age. He's approaching 68 because he's about a year younger than I am. Mm-hmm. But, man, oh, man, the team, I think, responded for Coughlin. Mm-hmm. I think I'd be shocked if they don't offer him a 1-year deal. It's certainly not going to be a long-term contract.
I think it's up to him whether he walks away. I don't think the Giants organization is going to fire him.
No, I don't see it.
Super Bowl rings.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
he's got 2.
That's right. He's got 2.
Right.
Well, let's talk about something else. Let's talk about Rex Ryan and the New York Jets. I mean, this team is just floundering. Geno Smith, is like you and me, Jeff, trying to throw a pass downfield. Geno has got thrown to the wrong jerseys a lot. They're going the other way. That team is floundering. I would be shocked if they don't get rid of him at the end of the years. I think that
get rid of Geno?
No, the coach,
Rex Ryan. Yeah,
I think Rex is gone. I don't see the Jets doing much. They got embarrassed by the Ravens, 19-3. They never moved the ball, and when they had a chance to move the ball, Geno would throw it the other way. I would look for that to happen. We'll see what happens, though. I just got a bad feeling. And that Denver game last night was weird. I fell asleep 24-0 at halftime. Get up this morning. What? And New England comes back and wins it in overtime. Amazing. Denver loses after a 24-0 lead at half.
I did watch that last night, and
Pretty staggering.
It was crazy how the momentum just shifted, and you could see it in the Broncos. They had no chance in the second half.
It's amazing.
And the Patriots were just on fire, and as cold as it was, he was moving the ball down the field like he always does, typical Brady. So,
and when would Jim Senecropian, Harold Weber, and Jeff Rook be sitting in a room talking sports and tell you that Arizona, Tampa Bay, and Jacksonville are playing phenomenal football? What happened? It's sort of like the world is turning. We were laughing at Tampa Bay. I made comments on this show a few weeks ago. The two worst teams all time in the world of NFL are what? 90 miles apart, Jacksonville and Tampa Bay, and guess what? They're winning on the road.
I don't get too excited about either one of them, but the Arizona Cardinals
Arizona
are
is
legit.
quietly making a
they
mark.
blew out Andrew Luck and the Colts, crushed them.
Right.
But I'm impressed by Jacksonville and Tampa Bay to take a season which I thought one of them had a shot of going winless.
Right.
They're playing good now.
Right.
So it's kind of nice to see that
The
kind of
NFL
happen.
is crazy. I mean, I would never let a coach in the NFL.
It's crazy.
I mean, look at the Giants game last night. Victor Cruz catches a ball and he gets it stripped. It goes in the guy's hand, runs the other way, and then look at the Detroit-Tampa game.
Yep.
Detroit's looking to win that game.
Yep.
Calvin Johnson, the best receiver in the game, catches the ball, and then it gets popped out, and it's just these random things.
How many games do you see coming down to one play, one
Amazing.
crazy play that
I know.
Like 50% of them, it
All of
seems
them.
like.
Oh,
And,
yeah.
It seems like there's a lot of them are jump ball type of plays or
It's pretty scary.
missed calls.
Well, folks, see this emblem here, baby? Check it out in the camera. S for Syracuse. I know Jimmy has got a sad heart with a loss to Pittsburgh on Saturday. A game they thought they were going to pull it out. They took the lead in the third quarter. Pittsburgh comes back and leads by a point. You think maybe in your mind that SU's going to move down the field. I was driving in the car, so I didn't get a chance to watch it, Jimmy.
That's the other thing.
Yep.
That's the same example.
Right.
We beat Pittsburgh. If we beat them, we didn't score more than them, but we beat them. We missed an extra point, missed a field goal.
Yep.
We were hurt. Their quarterback was hurt. They couldn't run the ball. We were running the ball.
Amazing.
Syracuse moved the ball up and down the field, and it's frustrating. It's frustrating watching it.
It is frustrating to watch them sometimes. And let's be honest, Scott Schaefer's first year with his new coaching staff and his new attitude and his new ideas for the program. Let's be blunt here. I know that everybody says I pick on Syracuse football, and I really have a reason to. They're an average football team at best, okay? They're in the ACC. I made a comment last week on the show that a fourth best team this year so far, in my view, not discounting the likes of Clemson, Florida State, and Georgia Tech. But this game Saturday at at home against Boston College, I cannot put, and Jim certainly knows it, I don't have to tell him being a graduate, this is a monumental game for Schaefer and SU. Why is that? If you're going to turn this program around, you got to get recruits to come to Syracuse and play football. They get them for basketball. We all know that. Jimmy's got a great team. He always gets his team in the top 10, top 5, national championships. Everything's great with SU basketball. They pack in 30-some thousand for basketball games. And this year there's going to be some classic battles in the ACC that Jim can't wait for. But on the football side of it, excuse me, you got to have a bowl opportunity. You got to get 6, and they got a chance now coming up Saturday. Losing that game, to me, would set them back even further. Winning that game, they get into a bowl game. Schaefer has a little confidence in the program, and people start thinking, maybe, just maybe next year they'll bring in some horses and turn it around, Jeff. But I think a loss would be really hurt that program.
It would.
It would hurt them.
It would. And to go to a bowl for Schaefer, I think, would be a big deal.
Big deal.
Just because, Marone left,
exactly.
as soon as he left, and there wasn't a lot of time for the transition.
Exactly.
So it would, it's a huge game. And I think they can beat Boston College, but it's going to be a little tougher than Pitt, I think. And
Jim pointed
Boston
out before
College
we went on the air, they're
tough.
a better team than Pitt.
Yeah, I think Boston College is better. They have a Heisman Trophy candidate running back, the best running back in the country, and they have performed. If you look at the teams Pitt's played and the scores and everything, Boston College has performed at a higher level than Pitt, and it's going to be a difficult game. I think we needed to win this game against Pitt. The line's 2.5 BC favorite, and I think that's pretty accurate. I wouldn't be surprised if it was 4 or 5 even.
Doug, you mentioned that the basketball team packs in the 36,000. The sad part about it is, so does the football team, 36,000. It should be more like 50,000.
Well, I mean, we've been talking. I pick on Daryl Gross, who's I've never been a big fan of that guy. I think he's more of a clown than an AD. I always get irritated when he came from Southern Cal. I made the comment at the airport. I still have that on videotape that I kept at home when he made the announcement that, and I don't know why he would have said that he felt that SU football would be in the discussion for national titles not too long down the road when he came to Syracuse. I remember it like it happened yesterday. Why he said that, I never could figure out, and he is never even scared, top 10 material.
It's not a bad goal to have, but
well, I know.
mean, you don't.
Well,
yeah,
I want to have two good eyes too. I lost
right.
one when I was
We're
7.
getting there. I'll argue that that our program is in a much better spot it was than before when Daryl Gross got here.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, wait a second. Gross hired Robinson. So
yeah.
first, I'll say that the program's in better shape than it's been since Robinson left, not since Gross came. I think that was Gross's biggest mistake. Obviously, was hiring Greg Robinson. But we got great athletes. Our defense is really, really good.
Yeah.
It's really good.
I don't know. I just questioned, why you would say that. Why you would get the SU alumni and SU people pumped up about talking about a national title. Are you serious? I mean, come on. I always use the line, you can't make chicken salad without chicken. And I will still maintain, I hate it to say it to you SU fans, we need some horses, baby. We need some, like Jim said last week, we need some of these 5 stars. Don't give me the 4s. Don't give me the 3s. Don't give me the 2s. High school athletes are ranked 1 to 5. We need a few 5s to jump in a bus and head to the Carrier Dome and decide to go to school there. That's the only thing that's going to turn that program around. We got to get some 5s.
Syracuse does, and a lot of middling programs do is they get 3 stars, and by the time they leave, they play like 5 stars.
Yep, I understand that.
That's the only way to do it.
But I would like to see a couple of 5s say, hey, you know what? I want to turn that program around. You know what I mean,
But what are the expectations, though? I mean, I think expectations now with any college is, I think, ridiculous. I mean,
I agree.
I mean, you look at Nebraska with Bo Pelini, who's won 10 games every single year that he's been there, and there's a lot of people who want him out, because they're not winning national championships.
Reminds me of Paul Pasqualoni.
Right.
Remember? He would win 10 games every year.
When Syracuse had a year of 6-6, that was a bad year, and here we are hoping that they get 6-6.
Hoping and praying, So it's a big one, folks. 3:30 broadcast time on Saturday. The games don't get any bigger than this. I know that Jim will have his lights off in his house if they lose. I'll know. I won't even have to watch a game. I'll go by the Seneca Falls house. If the lights are all off in the house, that means they lost. If the lights are on and Jim's out back having a cocktail, that means they won. So it's a huge game. Huge game. Check it out before our first broadcast on Saturday night. Should be a great game, and let's hope that SU can pull it out because, baby, SU needs it. Needs it big time. Speaking of college football, Jeff, what do you think about the surroundings and the allegations regarding Florida State's phenomenal quarterback in Winston? Supposed to make a decision this week about whether or not they're going to press charges.
Yeah, it looks bad for him.
It does.
It looks bad for him, and I know they're trying to separate it out, and they're trying to do their thing. But I mean, if they lose him, it's huge. I mean,
that's like losing Picasso.
Right. I don't see them.
No. Right now, it's a sure thing. I don't see Auburn beating Alabama this week. They could, but I don't see it. I'd like to see Alabama go against Florida State. I would like to see that because I'm of the opinion Alabama has just got all the tools, man. They got it. When they're not doing it offensively, they're doing it defensively.
So Alabama would play who?
Florida State.
Well, I know, but Alabama in the SEC championship, who would they play?
Let's see.
They got Auburn in regular season this week, who's ranked 4.
And then they would have to go to the championship game.
Yeah.
And that would have something to do with
True.
Yeah, I'm wondering though, is Auburn in their same division? Probably not. It's probably LSU maybe.
And then you have Florida State playing Duke, right?
Yeah.
How about Duke? Speaking of Duke, speaking of doormats, I thought the coach was Krzyzewski. I mean, think about, as we all talk about here on Weber this week, think about Duke. All the years I've been following sports, I used to laugh at Duke. Duke is a phenomenal basketball program year in and year out. Most every year they got excellent talent. And as we all know, Duke's not an easy school to get in academically. So you got to not only have brains, you got to be able to play the game. But Krzyzewski has had such a tremendous amount of success there. But the football program was laughable. They were the doormat of the doormats.
Right.
And they would get crushed 66-0, 72-6.
The ACC football is
But all of a
terrible.
sudden,
It is so bad.
I was just going to ask, is that a result of
it's just
how
terrible.
bad the ACC is?
But now
they're
they're
doing well, or
they're
I think
beating
it is.
Virginia Tech. They're beating Miami of Florida. I mean, I'm impressed.
Yeah.
At Duke, it's amazing. So when you think of Duke, you got to give credit.
Yeah, good for them. But like I say, it's just to me, it's an indicator of how weak the ACC is.
ESPN took a shot at the ACC the other night. They were talking about conferences, and one guy brought up the ACC, and the other guy said, knock it off. We don't even discuss that ACC conference. They're so bad. So it's going to be kind of. Hey, speaking of giving out credit, Jeff and Jim, let's give out credit to Hobart, Mike Craig, that Hobart Statesman program, football program. Have they turned it around up there or what?
Great year.
Undefeated again.
Yep.
Amazing. Amazing. They play St. John Fisher this coming weekend.
Right.
So that should be an interesting battle as well. A lot of things happening in the world of sports, and, of course, that thing on Winston with the sexual harassment, whether or not that will turn into charges. I do like the sheriff, though. I got to admit, it was a little bit of humor. I'm not making fun of a sexual harassment charge, but I must tell you the humorous part, Jeff, when they first investigated it, and a sheriff interrogated the victim and said, "You realize this is football country here?"
Jeez.
Only in Florida, right? The world of Florida. It's where the George Zimmerman lives, I guess. Oh, boy, he's a wacko as well. Well, Jeff, let's rehash. Jeff, of course, the big event coming up. Run it down again, talking December 14th, and looking forward to another huge event.
Yeah, December 14th. If you want to sign up, like I said, it's a wonderful run. 5K.com is the place to go to sign up. If anybody wants to volunteer, we can always use more volunteers with traffic and registration, and there's a lot of other jobs to do. So our email is wonderfulrun5k@hotmail.com. Send us an email. Let us know if you want to volunteer in whatever capacity you want to. And we like I said, we need volunteers.
Excellent.
The other thing about this, earlier when you were talking about how why it got so big, it's hard to understand why it got so big. I mean, one of the reasons why is this become a spectacle. All those people gathered in one spot, in little Seneca Falls.
Yeah.
I mean, the population of our town increases by 30% on race
That's
day,
right. Yeah.
and they all go across the bridge. And if
Yeah.
you haven't seen it, you can watch the videos.
Yep.
But really, to see it in person is
See it
amazing.
live is great.
And
It
everybody that's involved in it feels like they're in part of this big great event, and it's the holiday season. Everybody's happy. Everybody dresses.
Everybody dresses up. There's Santa Clauses out there,
That's
reindeers and elves, and
and so it's something very, very unique, and it's just kind of like a perfect storm of the holiday season, the movie, the fitness of it, the location. It's just something great to be a part of.
Hey, by the way, we're running out of time. We're past our 10 o'clock hour. A couple of quick comments. Next week, I don't think I'll have a guest, and I want to vent on some issues. I'll be here on the 2nd, which is next Monday. There's a lot of things to talk about. Me and Jimmy can hash over. Hopefully, Jimmy won't be underneath the desk if SU loses. There's a lot to talk about, so next week we won't have a guest. The following week, Jimmy's got a guest coming in from Wind Sports. Jimmy, quick capsule on what's that all about.
Doug Willard of RochesterWindsports.com. You see those guys on the north end of Seneca Lake always that's him and his friend. So he's going to tell a little bit about the sport. And
that'll be on the 9th. That'll be on the 9th. So, again, as we wrap up our holiday season.
Syracuse basketball tonight, Maui Classic, 5:30.
There you go.
Minnesota.
Should be an easy cakewalk for the Orange. Should be.
Little Patino.
That's right. Hey, by the way, folks, Thanksgiving Thursday, from the Weber family, the Rook family, and the Seneca family, we wish all of you a spectacular holiday season. If you're going away to see Grandma or whatever, no driving and no texting, no on the phones. I'm telling you, I work at the 3A part-time. They're grabbing people left and right for being on the phones out there. So be careful. Get off the phone. Stop your texting because they're going to get you big time. And, oh, by the way, unless you got 5 $100 bills on you, that's the fine now. 5 bills plus 5 points on your license.
Right.
It is a huge penalty. And guess what? You deserve it if you get nailed. So don't be on the phones and don't be texting. So enjoy your Thanksgiving. And don't forget our first telecast on FingerLakes1.com this Saturday night. Minders Academy, new coach Nick Ciotti travels to take on the Clyde Savannah Golden Eagles. Airtime 7:30 right here on FingerLakes1.com. Enjoy your holiday, folks. Take care until next week. Hasta la vista, baby.